What's up, Hoopers? There is one team that is absolutely struggling this season. Well, they got off to a pretty hot start, but as of lately, they are looking like the worst team in the NBA. In fact, if we go over and look at the statistics, and we check out just by team rankings where some of these teams lay as all combined, I'm talking about offense, defense, you will go down to the very bottom, and even the dumpster fires of the world like the Brooklyn Nets and even the one-game winning Houston Rockets don't even come close to the Golden State Warriors. What in the HE double hockey stick is going on in the Bay, man? This is the defending champs, but how much offseason turmoil could the team take? They paid dudes. They got in fights with dudes. A lot of things went on, and it actually has Steve Kerr as of lately talking about we need some drastic lineup changes. Now, I've been in these locker rooms before. I've seen all the messes, and I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen with these Warriors. And I am your NBA white guy talking all things NBA hoops from a hooper's perspective. So if you love my kind of content, then make sure you dunk that like button and you subscribe so that you never miss a thing. If you've been watching the NBA at all, you have seen one of the teams struggling and not a lot of attention going there. It's crazy to me that even though the Lakers have just won 2 games, it's like they won the NBA championship. When you talk about there's levels to this stuff, just like Meek Mill says, there's levels to this stuff. So the reigning NBA champs go on a slide. They've won 3 games. They've lost 6, and they're just now starting to get the press. But this is starting to be a real issue. We're going to break down the stats. We're going to break down the team rankings. We're going to break down some of these fights, and we're going to see what is going to happen with these Warriors. Now, an article that I saw here from NBC Sports really gets into the story of what Steve Kerr is going to do. Now, I love reading about some of the stats, but I'm a visual guy. I played hoops my whole life, and I played it through college, and I could just see chemistry issues, psychology issues, and there's some major stuff going on right now. But if you read this, a lot of the things that the Warriors were going to be very good at this season are absolutely atrocious right now. Now, I just did a video on this on the Lakers per player, how many attempts they're actually supposed to make, versus what they are making, and the signs that shows they're probably going to be a lot better than you think, or at least they're showing. And this is kind of showing the opposite here. As of lately, you've got a lot of players out there that reach, positive minutes and positive attributes when they're on the floor. So obviously you've got Kevin Looney, who's a +10, Draymond Green +5, Steph Curry +4, Wiggins +3. So these are guys who are doing a great plus-minus. Now this means when they're on the court, they are helping their team win. Now, before I get into the losers of the Warriors, we got to discuss this. This is some serious issues that you got to fix. And let me tell you right away what I see. The Golden State Warriors right now are ranked the 30th, the worst team according to all rankings combined in the NBA. So even though they have 3 wins, and as we see right now, they're not at the very bottom of the list, they are the worst team in the NBA. And let me tell you a few things about some of these categories. So basically none of them, they are in the top 10, except for one right here. They are 5th in the entire NBA in turnovers. So I'm telling you, everything right now is trajecting downward. It's kind of expected. You see these teams win the NBA championships. They probably drank too many brewskis in the offseason. They come in thinking they're a little better than they are, and they're getting smacked around in the mouth. And so a lot of these where you see the red, this is saying that they are the worst. It's all hustle and effort. But what did the Golden State Warriors do last season and finish the season winning the championship doing? Being the number 1 freaking defense out there. Now, the Boston Celtics were slated as they have the best defense, but it was obvious. It was very apparent. And during the finals, they put the clamps on the Celtics, especially your boy Wiggins. But this season right here, if we look at a lot of these statistics right here, they are 27th in the NBA in assists allowed. So they're letting them pass the ball around. They're not covering anybody. They're letting them drop it into the middle. They're 24th in the lead in field goals allowed. So they're not closing out on people. They're letting people shoot easy shots. They're 21st in the league in three-pointers allowed. Again, they're not closing out. They're probably not communicating. I don't know, maybe Draymond and Jordan Poole are going to fisticuff again in the middle of the game. And they are 22nd in opponents' field goal percentage. So it seems as if these teams are getting wide open shots and knocking them down. That's also what you do when you play the defending champs. You give them 150% every single night. So it's pretty easy to see why Kerr wants to switch some things around. Because here's what's happening. If you have these all-star players, you've got obviously Klay Thompson, you've got Steph Curry, you got Draymond Green, and then you get some of these younger cats who come up and then they get paid. That's when you start seeing a little less effort, a little less hunger out there. Now let's cruise over and we'll check out some of these statistics of these players. So if we break it down to this season right now, you basically got Steph Curry leading the entire team in everything. Now you've got some obvious things in here and you have some very, non-obvious. So Andrew Wiggins is coming in right now out of playing 9 games, averaging 33 minutes a game, about 18 points. That is exactly what you want Wiggins to do. You want him to play defense on the best player of the opposing team and get you anywhere from 15 to 20 points a night. That's championship quality stuff, Wiggins. You need to get your bag. Next up on the list is Jordan Poole. This is a guy who can easily come in and pour in 20, 30 points, but this season he's been off to a little bit of a slower start, averaging just 16 points. Maybe he's still seeing stars after that Draymond punch. I don't know. But he's obviously not helping out much on the rebound side when he's only averaging 1.7 rebounds. Even Steph Curry's got 7 rebounds. Poole, I would be slapping you if you're only getting 1 rebound a game. Assists 4, steals 1, blocks nothing. So the big one here, too, is he's got the most turnovers, but that's still not that much, really, 3 a game. And he's shooting, if we go down and look, Jordan Poole, he's shooting only 78% from the free throw line, which he's a lot better shooter than that. And from the three-point line, he's shooting 30%. Look at Steph Curry, by the way, Mr. Chef. 12.3 three-pointer attempts a game, and he's knocking down 41%, dude. This dude is out of this world. But a guy like Klay Thompson, who was arguably, like, in his prime, had a better shot than Steph Curry. Now, I'm not saying he's a better three-point shooter, but you have to admit with me that when Klay was on it, that one time when he scored, 60 points and he only dribbled the ball 3 times, the dude is a bona fide shooter, and he's still a little bit slow. I thought he'd come out a little hotter, shooting almost 10 three-pointers a game at 32%. Again, I think any Lakers fan would die to have that right now, but for his standards, that's a little bit low, and I think, his injuries past few years, it's kind of getting in his head. But you're also noticing out of this right here is in the minutes category. So with the Golden State Warriors, the highest average minute really is, Steph Curry. Usually you have your stars who are going to give you anywhere from 35, 38, even 40 minutes a game, and they don't really have that. So they rely heavily on a rotation. Now, why do they do that? That's because that's the system that Steve Kerr came up in with Phil Jackson. See, Phil Jackson was notorious for playing guys who were not starters, who were not all-stars, just to keep them ready for the year. That's how Steve Kerr got hit. He wasn't even supposed to play. I actually listened to an interview of Steve Kerr who said, man, if I just made it one season, I would have been happy. The dude played 15 years. He won, 5 or 6 chips. He got to play on that notorious Spurs team with Duncan. He got to play with the Bulls with Jordan. Now, this is a guy who never would have gotten a chance had he have not had Phil Jackson as a coach. So, you think that he's going to do the same thing? Absolutely. So, it's very apparent why you see a bigger rotation in the Warriors, why you see these dudes not playing 38, 40 minutes a game. But when you got these dudes like Poole, who's like 19 years old, it seems like, and he's an absolute all-star, the dude's got to be playing some more minutes. But I think since he got his bag, he ain't playing the way he should be playing. Now, this goes right back to looking at some of the plus minuses. A massive aspect of the Golden State Warriors this year was going to be with the big man, Wiseman. In fact, in the preseason, he was looking pretty dang good. But when you look at him and Moses Moody and Jordan Poole and JaMychal Green, these dudes are a -3, -9 for Moses Moody and James Wiseman. Jordan Poole's a -10. And JaMychal Green, another, forward that they have, a -15. So a lot of these players that are out there, they're not giving it that Warrior effort, and it's really starting to weigh on that locker room. And what did that have Steve Kerr saying? It said right here, we're going to have to make some adjustments, make some changes. Kerr said to the reporters, we've had 9 games now. We've had a decent look at combinations, so it's time to do something different. Now, this isn't just going into the locker room and telling these guys, all right, we're going to try some different lineups. This is Steve Kerr directly calling out his team. Now, again, I've played on some of these teams all through college, and when the coach goes to the press and says, we need to try some new things, we need some different lineups, the locker room hears it. And it hears it very loud. So I would expect some of these practices that we see next are going to get a little bit more chippy, a little bit more fiery. I've talked about this a lot from a hooper's perspective. Whenever your coach challenges you, whenever you know you're a better team than what your record shows and what the stats show, that's when things get very competitive, especially on the court. Because if a coach comes in and says, I don't care what you're getting paid and who your name is, if you are not playing the way that I want you to play, you're going to ride the bench. Things get a little bit chippier in practice. Now, we've seen what happens when things get chippy in practice with the Warriors. This is when Draymond Green came up and just sucker punched the dog piss out of Jordan Poole, and that could still have some lingering effects. Now, there's chemistry issues. Whenever you're not hustling, those stats, when I see no hustle stats, I'm talking about letting them shoot, not getting rebounds, turnovers. That means that there's chemistry issues. You don't see that a lot of times with some of the younger teams because they are playing so freaking hard and they have nothing to lose. But when you get these veteran teams and everybody thinks that they need to get their minutes and their points, you will see these chemistry issues. And that fight is having a lingering effect. That is one of the biggest reasons that we are seeing the Warriors be one of the worst teams in the NBA. So you know what it takes? It takes a guy like Draymond Green to sit there and go, you know what? I am the freaking leader. Not only do I need to be vocal in this locker room and out there on the court, but I need to go up and squash this thing with Poole. I need to go out and lift this dude up because losing 6 of our last 9 games is really starting to piss me off. And so that's what it takes. I've talked about this with the Lakers a lot. If the Lakers truly want to be contenders or at least get into the playoffs and win some games, it starts with LeBron James. It's not Pelinka. It's not Jeannie Buss. It's not Darvin Ham. It is freaking LeBron. These leaders are what lead the team. And you see it right now with the Warriors and not hustling and getting their butts kicked by allowing these teams to just shoot wide open shots. It's chemistry. And if Draymond, who's a notorious hothead and thinks his way or the highway, does not fix this, you're going to see a massive slide. Now, this brings up another story where they basically came out and said, we're not trading Draymond Green. It's not happening. He has a player option for next year. He's slated to make about 25, 26 million this year, about 27, 28 million next year if he takes the option. But this could be something to where he starts getting aggravated out, and he's definitely vocal enough to ask for a trade. Now, if he were to get traded, where would he go? Who would take him? Now, he's an undersized center who I feel like really got his name because of this Warriors organization. I'm not quite sure he has the same, mystique and he has the same presence on any other team that doesn't have 2 of the greatest shooters that we've ever seen in the history of the NBA. But there would be some teams in contention, I guarantee it, to go out and look at him. But I think that's the last thing that they want. They want to get one of those freaking rings with 5 trophies in it this time. Did you see old Klay Thompson doing the ring thing to Devin Booker the other night? That didn't go well. And ever since then, they've lost 4 straight games. So seems like every time Klay Thompson opens his mouth about somebody, it wakes a demon. Remember what he said about LeBron getting his little feelings hurt? And then LeBron came back and beat him down 3-1. I love it. The greatest finals of all time. And this is the greatest YouTube channel of all time. So if you're loving the NBA white guy, I need you to do one thing right now. You got to go down and hit that like button. The engagement that you do is what helps my videos so that I can get these out there and try to compete with all the big dogs. So do yourself a favor, hit the like button for the NBA white guy and subscribe so that you never miss any of my videos. Now, you need to watch this video. It's probably the best video you've ever seen in your entire life. And if you miss it, you're going to have bad luck for 7 years. Just kidding. Love you, homies. Until my next video, Hoopers, we'll catch you later.